Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And welcome to the Mind Over Madness podcast with myself and Sean.
Sean the White Splodge.
Sean the White Splodge. Yeah, he is. Majestic.
Here I am on all my splodgy glory.
It's beautiful. Yes, welcome back, everybody. We hope you're all doing well. We're actually bringing another podcast episode out 2 weeks later. That's impressive.
I know. It's extremely well timed.
We're on a roll.
We're both just up for it.
How are you doing anyway, mate? How's things?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. It's been a pretty busy week. I had to take my mum to town, which I haven't been to town in like 5 years because, like, when I go, if I want something, I usually just go like somewhere else where there's a shop. But town centres these days are not somewhere I go very often. You know, I don't really go on the mini nights out, and I don't really go shopping in town centres. So it was a bit weird going there.
Yeah.
But it's yeah. Despite all of the shop, well, like half the shops being closed, it's just how I remembered it. I didn't actually realise HMV still had shops in towns as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, it must have got took over by someone else, and like it moved to a different location, and now it's called the HMV store or something. But it's like it was nice in there. I was like, okay,
Fair dues. Fair dues.
okay, they still exist.
They're still alive and kicking. That's good.
But yeah, it's been pretty good. How has your 2 weeks been?
It's been alright. Busy.
Yeah, you were ill.
I was ill for quite some time. And then I got better.
He's a sick baby boy.
I was a sick baby boy. And then I got better. And now I'm just fucking trying to arrange stuff with people.
Yeah.
Which is a little tricky. Because I've also got family stuff that needs to happen. So streaming, the editing has been a little bit lacking, I'll be honest. Obviously Sean very kindly did the last podcast because I can barely fucking look straight. I've only just started getting back into editing again, so I'm a little bit behind on stuff, but you know, I'm good. Mental health, that's good. Physical health, getting better. It's all going in the right direction, you know.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yes. But on that note of us talking about ourselves, shall we move on to the news? Should we get straight into this?
Yes, let's jump straight in. Our first section is the news. Woo!
Because everyone
Dun 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 dun. Oh, that was the weakest link.
Dun dun. Start the phone.
Dun dun. So I think we should probably mention Nicola Bulley to start with, because I think we briefly mentioned her on the last podcast, but it wasn't like the massive sensationalist story it has become today. So obviously it's a very sad case of a dog walker kind of going missing, but at the time there's like no kind of details about it from the police, which is like a separate discussion, should they inform us of all these things. But yeah, so it's been 3 weeks now, or 3 weeks a day or something like that.
Yeah, give or take, something like that, three and a half weeks.
And she's still not been found. It's been reported on that she had issues with alcohol at menopause, and there was a visit from the police to her house and stuff like that with the weeks prior. So like it's starting to turn from an abduction, which everyone thought it was a few weeks ago, to a kind of running away or potential suicide or something. So yeah, very difficult one. What do you think about it? Do you have any I don't know that.
I mean,
any thoughts about it?
I think regardless, obviously it's sad that Nicola Bulley has gone missing. I think that is just, that's just genuinely sad overall. It doesn't matter who you are at the end of the day. But I think more importantly is kind of this discussion that's now going on about whether or not the police should have revealed so much. It's been talked a lot of personal stuff that came out that the family didn't really want to come out has come out. And I guess there's two sides to look at it. There's the sides from, well, the more information we have, the more likely it is that we'll find something that'll lead to maybe her being found, whether, hopefully not dead, but, obviously with every day that passes. But gives us more of a clue as to where to go to try and find her. But at the same time, is there like a moral thing of it, of like a lot of people have used the argument and put the argument forward that it was unnecessary information that was put out there, sort of the alcohol, the mental health stuff. But to be completely honest, in the police's defence, because I will be ripping into them later, in the police's defence, I think it's a little unfair to sort of demonise them for giving this information, I guess, because I mean, in any other case, I'm sure it's information they would have just put forward to the public anyway.
Yeah. They said that it was an unusual step for them to take to like release personal information about kind of alcohol or whatever, menopause.
Yeah,
but I feel like because they wasn't aware that the whole case was going to like blow up internationally, that they kind of just released that to kind of stop speculation, which it kind of has really, about everyone's theories. Everyone and their nan had a theory about what happened to it.
Yeah.
I just kind of wish they kind of maybe didn't divulge it all like straight away, but maybe just something. Just to say she's vulnerable with mental health kind of issues, like potentially. I think it would have like eased a lot of people's kind of wildfire imaginations.
Yeah. I think it's unfair as well. Like obviously, when you're talking about mental health, I think that's okay, especially when someone's gone missing. I think knowing that person could be in a mentally vulnerable place, I think that's okay to bring that forward and bring that to light. But I think when it comes to stuff like menopause and things like that, I don't know. I just don't see that being deeply necessary information. Yeah, maybe that's just me, but I don't know, man. Like it feels a bit unnecessary.
Like a bit of they had kind of said that just to say something and be like, it's shocking for people.
Yeah, it's like, hey, look, she's having a menopause. Doesn't matter.
Kind of like playing into that narrative that woman, she's on the menopause, she's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not very helpful. I don't think.
No, and it's definitely not fair on Nicola herself as well.
No.
There was a little bit of information that came out. Nicola's family released a statement confirming they were aware of the police would be releasing the details, though they did add that Nikki would not have wanted this. The force has received backlash, including from Labour MP Stella Creasy. Just look up that person. They're not exactly a great spectacle human being himself, who said there is no evidence that this is assisting in finding her, which I think certain information, I would agree with. Knowing that she was going through the menopause, how's that help?
But she's basically no different than a member of the public when it comes to this. She's not going to have any access to the files or anything.
No.
It's just the police that are going to know everything, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's how it should be.
The rest of us are just kind of waiting for information that they give us.
It's a bit ridiculous in that sense. The Lancashire
so
police... Yeah, I mean...
Sorry, go on.
No, I think it's an important thing to talk about, though, because I think it puts a very important distinction in line on what police can release when it comes to missing people, or when it comes to a traumatizing or terrifying and upsetting thing that happens. How much information is too much information? How much is necessary, how much isn't. Lancashire Police are set to conduct an internal review into the investigation that the force has confirmed in a statement. A spokeswoman said a review of the investigation is diarised and will be conducted by our head of crime detective chief superintendent Pauline Stables. She is also PIP 4 accredited and has attended the National Reviewer course. So basically what they've said is we're going to launch an investigation on ourselves by ourselves.
Yeah, but apparently I've read a little bit into it that it's normal that they do that when there's like the police have been to an incident a few weeks prior and then they end up missing.
Yeah,
that's just normal procedure. So people blowing that out of proportion.
Yeah, people bringing this kind of stuff up as
like, oh my god, no, there was misconduct. No,
no, it wasn't misconduct. But at the same time, I do find it ironic when I mean, the government did it as well. We're doing an investigation on ourselves, but we're the ones conducting the investigation. Like, I can understand why people come forward and they go, well, that's just fucking stupid. Of course you're not going to.
It's basically like we're going to talk to our mates about it, and they're going to say it's okay, and we're going to be okay.
It's like, and we're going to get a cold pint and wait for all this to blow over. It just, I don't know. I can understand why people are a little bit, well, what the fuck's the point in the investigation if you're the ones doing it? You know, like get a third party and get someone who's completely detached. But I guess it is hard to do that now. You know, not being in the EU and all. So, but yeah,
I guess what would be, I guess a hypothetical question would be. Obviously, they've kind of released all this information, and maybe potentially, if she's in a serious mental state that she might not want that, and she may still be alive.
Yeah.
What would like your thoughts be if she somehow she ended up doing a runner from her life and she just came back now? Would that be a kind of negative?
I think the first thing would be at least she came back and she was safe.
Yeah,
I think that's the first thing.
That'd be the
I think the second thing, I think the second thing would be right. You need to go and get help. Like that's not fucking normal behavior. But I gotta be honest, and this is just my opinion. This is completely my opinion. Let me make that clear. I think by now, if it was just a runner, I think someone would have seen her, or she would have turned.
I know, yeah. It seems unlikely.
I think as tragic and as horrible as that must be for obviously people saying that and the family to be hearing that kind of thing as well, I can't imagine how upsetting that must be. Because you want to hold on to hope. You want to believe that your family member is going to turn up, especially a mother of children and a wife and stuff. But I mean, you've kind of got to look at it from the other perspective of as well as like. Who is she? Jason Bourne? Can she just disappear off the face of the earth? Can anyone do that in this day and age? It's. I mean, it's a possibility, but I lean more into I think something. I don't think it's a murder or an abduction. I will say that. I think.
I initially thought that, but I've changed my view since then.
Yeah, I think it's just either it's going to be a tragic accident that something happened to her and she just she can get herself out of a situation, or a horrifying other incident. Of course, this is all speculation. Obviously, there's still an investigation going on, and hopefully they will find something. I think.
Still have to hold out hope, but I'm leaning towards the kind of a bad outcome, unfortunately. But what can we say about it?
But to talk a little more about this situation and about something else that's come up recently is TikTok sleuths. Because TikTok's wonderful website. Apparently, they've been descending on the village that Nicola lived in, and someone was.
Take selfies on the bench.
Someone was quoted as saying, "I'm walking the same route that Nicola Burley, 45, followed before she disappeared, along the river in the small Lancashire village of St Michael's on Wear. It's also the same route that amateur social media sleuths take when they come to look into the case themselves." I mean, kind of, what do we think of? I mean, I have my opinion, but I mean, what do we think of people going there and doing these TikToks and?
I just think it's morbid curiosity, isn't it?
Yeah, not really spreading awareness as such either. Just kind of going there to be like, I'm walking the same route that she did before she disappeared, and trying to make it
too early for stuff like that. They're turning it into like a Netflix true crime thing, aren't they? It's just so, and like, don't fuck with cats and stuff like that, where they want to be that one person who makes that discovery. Like they've obviously done the thing where they found a glove which turned out to be a hoax.
Yeah.
And then there's apparently been police searching this morning in a little village area for things, but then it's just like turned out to be a hoax again. So it's just all kind of these armchair detectives and TikTok stars getting likes and views when it's really not helpful to the investigation.
Yeah.
And they just want to be that one person who finds something and they get famous from it.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's all kind of self-indulgent nonsense, really.
Yeah, it's all ridiculous. And do you know what the scary thing is the more people that go along her route or go to where she has been, you're more likely you might damage evidence. You might just knock something and not realise, thinking, oh, that's not important. You might end up fucking over a lead. So I think people are being very selfish, but I understand where morbid curiosity comes from. But use your fucking brain. Use your fucking brain. Have some fucking common sense here. A family is still grieving. A family is still terrified about where this person is. The last thing they need is your dumbass go in there and trying to make it dramatic like a fucking show.
I know.
But just to give some context to the kind of viewage that this stuff gets, over the same period, I discovered that Instagram Reels using Nicola Bulley's name has had more than 158 million views, and the post had around 115,000 interactions, likes, follows, comments, etc. On YouTube, videos I found using the same term have racked up over 3.3 million views in total, while on Twitter, the analysis of mentions and their potential research missed just under 21 million views. So, obviously, people are talking about it. And that's, like you say, clout chasers, people that want to just get their 5 minutes of fame, you know? And they're not really contributing anything.
I mean, it's normal for the public to have an interest in these kind of things, but there's like a line that you don't cross when it comes to that kind of curiosity, where you don't go and visit them, you don't send hate mail to the family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what's happened.
Who sends hate mail to the family like it's your family? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Looking, Barbara from Wales wants to send some mail to them. Like, what the hell has that got to do with you?
Barbara should be in a fucking home then. But yeah, this is another example. So Caroline, who lives in a town nearby, says she has seen hundreds of TikTok videos pushing their false suggestions. More importantly, false suggestions, things that are made up. Some which have been recommended to her. Quote, some of the things they point out in the videos make you think maybe they're onto something, she says. Then I give myself a wake up and think, why would they actually be doing that? What would they be acting for? And what are we being distracted from? I mean, that's a good part to hit at, especially the what are we being distracted from. You know, people are making up theories and stuff, and that's okay. I mean, we do it on the podcast. We come up with theories and stuff all the time. But there is a line to walk, you know. If you push a theory that's not true but it's plausible and believable enough, fucking people will believe it, man. People believe Trump. I mean, you know, like, humans are gullible. Humans are very, very gullible, and it doesn't take a lot to convince them to go in a direction. And unfortunately, the dangers of that is that, you know, an investigation can be completely derailed, especially if it's going in one direction or another. So yeah, both articles that I've reached from will be down in the description if you guys want to check them out and read through all of them. Obviously, we don't do that here, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, very, very sad case, and we just hope there's a resolution at some point soon. Yeah. Like,
and stop fucking going there doing TikToks. What's wrong with you?
I know. Stop taking selfies on the bench. Like,
go touch some grass somewhere else. Fucking hell.
I know.
Like, it's not necessary. No one wants you there. Nobody.
Yeah. I know. If you're not helping.
Yeah, if you're not doing anything constructive, fuck off. Make the video from your bedroom. Make it from your fucking street. Why do you need to be there?
I know, yeah.
But it might get me one extra view. Fuck your views. Like, have some fucking humanity.
Shall we move on to another topic?
Sure, let's move on to another one. I've got one here, or unless you got one.
If you've got like a segue one, then you can do that.
I mean,
because this one's completely different.
I mean, this one's completely different. I have got another one, but I don't want to throw too many fucking hard-hitting, horrible ones in one. So,
right.
We'll go with this one. Night Without Power from Homes Hit by Storm Otto. So this is obviously the storm that recently came over the UK.
The recent one, yeah.
Yeah, this was over in Scotland. Thousands of people in northern Scotland spent a night without power in the aftermath of Storm Otto. The Scottish and Southern Electricity Networks, the SSEN, said its engineers reconnected more than 41,000 people, but at 10 a.m. on Saturday, about 2,000 people were still without power. It expects to restore power to most people throughout the day, without everyone reconnected by Sunday. Mobile food vans are serving hot and food drinks in the main affected areas. So, I mean, this is becoming a more common occurrence. The UK is now having shit weather that's causing actual structural problems.
I know. I mean, probably worth mentioning the earthquake in Turkey that obviously happened recently as well. Lots of people kind of buried and what have you. People still being found like 11 days later and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's wow. I saw some footage of it the other day and was like, oh my god, that looks terrifying. Like, imagine just being there. Like, I mean, we're lucky to live somewhere where we don't experience that stuff like that yet. Yeah. So yeah, my heart's go out to the people who don't have any power and can't make the cups of tea in Scotland, but also in Turkey.
Yeah, I mean, Turkey's definitely worse. I mean, recently, just today, they announced they found a gentleman by the name of Christian Atsu. I hope I pronounced that properly. He's basically a famous footballer. He was found dead in one of the buildings. So, Just shows natural disasters, man. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, I think it's tragedy, you know. Like, a very talented young 31-year-old. It's just, you know, he's been taken away just that quickly. And obviously, of course, not to take away obviously from, you know, the hundreds of thousands of people that are struggling right now, and the tens of thousands of people that have already been found dead. I think it crossed 41,000, wasn't it? Which is a horrifying number.
Yeah, it's just like that kind of silver lining of the fact that they are finding some people still alive after all this time. Like, my God, it must be absolute hell, but there is still life in there.
I mean, it's it's sad because, I mean, there's not what can you say? I mean, it's
just natural, isn't it?
It's just a horrifying disaster that's happened, and
all we can do is try and obviously there's lots of kind of charity appeals and stuff that people can donate to and stuff, which I'm sure helps. But just kind of pray and think about them. It's a terrible time to be in Turkey right now.
Oh God! I mean, hopefully they can get. I mean, they've been a lot of streamers and a lot of people have been donating a lot of money and aid to them, so hopefully that will help them. Obviously, there was that horrific fucking shit. Like, for whatever reason, 2 bellends just lit fire to a bunch of aid that was meant to go to Turkey. It was about £18,000 worth, I think, of aid, and just utterly destroyed it for no reason other than being a twat. Like. Why?
Because it's half term.
Why? I mean, a hang, drawn, and quarter them?
I'm just going to assume it's like youths, and I'm just like, youths of today.
Tell you
what do they like?
If they're youths, beat them. They won't fucking do it again, will they? Like, I mean, I don't know. It's like. It's horrifying what's happened in Turkey, and then you have the world comes together. There's loads of people that come together to provide aid.
Twat.
And some arsehole just goes, "I'll light that on fire. That would be hilarious." It's like,
that's funny.
How do you? What is fun to you?
And it's like there's so many other things going on that just it's kind of like it doesn't take priority in anyone's mind. It's just like, oh, you know, those idiots. But like they should really be made an example of, shouldn't they?
They should be. Yes. I think. Yeah, but I think the problem is why I don't think they found out who they are. Hopefully they will soon.
And if they are under 18, then it's going to be a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, this is another thing that I don't agree with, which comes on to the next story we're going to talk about. But I'm sorry, there's certain crimes, fuck whether you're under 18 or not, you should be tried as an adult. Simple. Like, what's the problem? But they're children. Fuck them. You commit a crime.
They're going to commit something that serious. They're not going to be rehabilitated.
Exactly, you know. It's like, oh, my child kicked a puppy in the head and till it was dead. It's like, your child needs to get put in fucking home. Like,
I know.
There's
stealing a newspaper or some sweets from a shop, yeah,
that's like a don't do that again. Slap on the wrist. Give them another opportunity to not
fucking murdering people. What the hell?
Exactly. Yeah. Destroying thousands of pounds worth of aid just because it'd be a laugh. Like, you know. And yeah, on the topic of murder, Brianna Gay, a family overwhelmed by support, police says. So this is the story of a young trans teenager. 16-year-old transgender girl was found wounded on a path in Liner Park in I think it's Coltith, Cheshire on Saturday. The fact that this
all
was
these
done,
things are quite near to me.
Yeah, this was done in broad daylight, by the way. Broad daylight, 3:00 in the afternoon, and she passed away. And this is the hilarious bit for me. The police say they don't believe it was a hate crime. Now, I give the police a little bit of credit, because here's what I'm going to rip into them. Fuck off. Not a hate crime.
And the perpetrators were like 14 and 15, weren't they?
Yeah, a boy and a girl, both aged 15, appeared at Liverpool Crown Court earlier and were charged with murder. Good. I hope they end up in prison. The pair were further remanded into youth detention.
Yeah, that's where they go.
Fuck youth detention. Put them in a prison. Like, what's this bull? But they're children.
Like
but they're children. They murdered someone. And your fucking advice, your thinking to that is put them in a youth detention centre. No. Put them in a fucking jail cell with an actual hardened criminal for the night and see how long they fucking last.
I know. They should just have like a separate wing, but I imagine you like we say that there. Separate wing for this, separate wing for that.
Don't put them in a fucking separate. Put them in with the population. Be like, you want to be a criminal? Go fucking live with them. Have fun, and see how long they last. Like this, fuck mummy cuddling them. The boy from I believe it's Leah, and the girl from Warrington
Lee,
appeared. Yeah, Lee.
Just down the road.
Oh, that's scary. And the girl from Warrington appeared on separate video links and were both accompanied by an adult because they're minors, despite committing,
of course,
crime. The girl's parents and boy's mother were in the public gallery for the short hearing. They are due to return to the same court for a plea hearing on the 2nd of May. Now, I understand you love your children. I understand that, of course, you're going to defend your kids till the end of the earth. What the fuck are you expecting to get from a plea? Hear me out. My kid killed someone. Ground him for a year? I'm sorry. Fuck off. Like,
I don't know, yeah.
But they're my child. Fuck your child. I'm sorry. Like, come on. How? I get defending your kid. Use your brain cells. Your kid just killed a transgender person because they were transgender. And I know, like, people might go, well, James, that's speculation. How do you know? Fuck off. Apparently, Biana was incredibly bullied, right? Of course she was. Of course she was. She was transgender at the age of 16. She was transgender before that.
If that's not going to draw attention at school, I don't know what.
Yeah, she was transgender at the beginning of her comprehensive tenure. Like, she was bullied all the way through for having gender dysphoria. And, I mean, come on! Like, why are we treating these children like they're they just murdered someone. That's fine. Like, it's so...
How terrible.
It's ridiculous. And it really clicked with me. Something clicked with me, right? There was a similar situation to this. It wasn't a transgender person, but there was a similar situation of two young females who attacked their young female friend. It was called the Slender Murders. The two girls that believed if they killed their friend, Slender Man would come and allow them to live in his mansion. You know, Slender's not real and all, and these two girls were tried as adults and charged as adults, rightfully so. Why are these two not being, like, they've been charged with murder, sure. Don't put them in a youth detention. Put them in prison. Put them in jail. Like, lock them up.
Because it's no different whether they're, like, 15 or 18. Like, they're going to have that element of, like, premeditation, the ability to enact the crime, the thinking they're going to get away with it.
Yeah.
And all those kind of mature thoughts.
Yeah.
Which go along with that, and it's just... Yeah, the punishment should fit the crime, definitely, and absolutely. Tried as adults. There's just no way of getting around it with the laws in this country and stuff.
And this is the problem. Fucking law. The law in the UK is shot. It doesn't work. But
one size fits all.
Yeah, exactly. One size fits all. Cheshire Constable said the Crown Prosecution Service reminds all concerned that criminal proceedings against both 15-year-olds are now active and they have the right to a fair trial. I agree. Put them in jail.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if this was a fucking adult that murdered someone because they were transgender, it'd be a hate crime, they'd be in jail for murder, like premeditated. Because they're kids, you're being nice. Fuck off.
I know. And all this taxpayer money wasted on that trial.
Exactly.
When we're still going to have to pay for them to be in a youth detention centre or prison, so...
Put them in jail. It's extremely important. It's extremely important that there should be no reporting, commentary, or sharing of information online which could in any way prejudice these proceedings.
Identify the kids, because they have a right to anonymity.
I mean, I don't know if people will remember that are our age, but obviously Jamie Buller, what's that his name?
Yeah,
Jamie
Bulger,
yeah, he was killed, obviously, and those two kids. If they had been let out of that van, they would have been lynched. Like, people wanted their heads on spikes. But yeah, I mean, I agree with the not coming up with, like, fake information. I agree with that. I agree to the fact that, yes, they deserve a trial. And it should be fair. But commentary or sharing of information online which could in any way prejudice these proceedings, what, can we not talk about it because someone might see it and go, well, now they must be tried? Because how the fuck do you think people are going to react? If someone's on that jury and they go, no, they shouldn't be tried, I think they should be let out, fucking jail them, put them in a home. Like they're clearly not mentally well either. Like, this is so clear cut. I'm sorry, and I understand that the police said, where is it? Yeah, police have said a few lines of inquiry are being pursued, including whether it was a hate crime. You don't have to be fucking born this millennium to know that it was a hate crime. Like, come on. How fucking stupid do you have to be? And look, I'm going to stress this point. Yes, this is my opinion. But if you have another opinion, please enlighten me how you've come to that conclusion.
It does make sense a bit. I think it just stops all of another process being enacted, and it saves them the task if it's not a hate crime, I guess.
Yeah, and this is the problem with police. I understand they are overworked. I understand they are overwhelmed with crimes, and it's impossible to do them all. But when it comes to something as serious as murder, I'm fairly certain that we have
tops everything else.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that this was a hate crime, and again, I understand that people may want to look at this situation and go, but they're children. They murdered someone, therefore they lost the right to having that fucking anonymity as children. You know, I get not putting their faces out there, right? I can understand that bit, because obviously people are going to try and enact their own justice at that point, and I don't think they should be lynched despite the fact they're monsters. But I mean, how much money are you paying to protect their identities? At least give them the trial they deserve. And put them
if only the victim had that kind of protection.
Funny that, isn't it? It's it's funny how many crimes happen against people that are transgender or any part of the LGBTQ community. Like, anybody that goes through these crimes and stuff, I have non-binary friends that have dealt with fucking prejudice and bullshit. I have transgender friends that have done the same fucking thing, and it's so infuriating because when they go to the police about a crime that might have happened to them, nah, you're fine.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is wrong with you? No. Why? There was a bunch of vigils that were held, obviously, across the UK on Tuesday night in memory of the teenager who was described by her family as strong, fearless, one of a kind. And to be that young and come out as transgender and transition, I'm not surprised. I imagined that she was an incredibly strong human being. And
very brave thing to do at that age, and my God, school is very tough.
Fucking school's hard for
the
best
of people.
Let alone coming out as trans.
Never mind having something like that.
That's incredibly huge strength, and just an absolutely disgusting act that I hope they get the books thrown at them. I couldn't give a shit their age.
Yeah, hopefully.
But there is this bit. I'll read this bit in the act of fairness. Cheshire Police initially said there was no evidence of Brianna's killing was a hate-related, but on Tuesday, so not that long ago, detectives said all lines of inquiry were being explored, including a hate crime. Officers who had been given extra time to question the two teenagers later charged them with murder. So they have been charged with murder now. So I'm assuming hate crime is probably going to be in there somewhere. I hope.
Yeah.
But that, just to be in fairness,
previous 20 minutes argument invalidated.
Well, I will say this much. Funny how that only happened Tuesday, and before that they were denying. And I think this is something that's been going on for about 2 weeks now. And just before that, they were like, no, it's not a hate crime. But then once people gave them a shit ton of backlash, all of a sudden they changed their way of thinking. It's what?
It's turning into because of social media and everything these days, everything has to be so transparent and stuff, don't they? And the police obviously have to deal with all that pressure as well, and be just transparent as possible. But then any kind of little thing that is wrong, that the public demands blood.
Yeah. I think when it's such an obvious fucking slap in the face as well of people, I think that's the thing as well. It's not just a slap in the face of Brianna and her horrifying death, but also a slap in the face of other transgender people going, no, even if you're murdered It's not a hate crime. And I mean, look, not
all crimes that happen against trans people are hate crimes.
Not all crimes are hate crimes, but when it's so blatantly obvious, these two kids bullied her for years. Come on.
Like, I mean, it doesn't take much, does it?
Doesn't take a fucking genius. I'm dumb, and I can fucking work it out. Like, it doesn't take a lot.
And he is.
I am. But I mean, the thing is, I also don't, despite being very frustrated with the police, I also think there's a problem with the laws. The laws need to be updated. They need to be changed. They need to be adapted to fit modern times. Something we've talked about before, and I think it's something that's still not being done, and it needs to be done. So
it's like so many elements go into it, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like the funding. They don't have the staff to even do it. It's like just like as long as we get the bare minimum done, it's okay.
Get the bare minimum done. We're good. We're golden.
But yeah, hopefully something will come along in the next few years and just kind of reform this. And obviously with all the disgusting like behaviours of the Met Police as well, which is a wild, rife issue of them kind of abusing victims and using their power against, like, it's just
this
like,
country is starting to fall.
Reforms.
Yeah, this country's starting to fall down a very dark hole, and if it doesn't turn around soon, it might not fucking turn around. So, but of course, all our love and hope go out to Brianna's family and hope for justice. So, on that note, shall we move on to our next thing in the news? Do you have another thing?
As Nicola Sturgeon obviously resigns, Scottish First Minister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened. So it's kind of come out as a bit of a shock, I think, because obviously in England we're very much used to our prime ministers resigning. Wales is still holding out strong, isn't it?
Yeah, Wales has had the same one for a little while now. He's still shit, but Mark Drakeford has stuck around. I'll be honest.
At least he's consistently shit.
Yeah, exactly. Enough that he stays in that position. So
yeah,
I'll give him that.
And so Sturgeon, this rock of the north, has now resigned because it's just kind of too much for her. I don't think she gives many details about why. It's just the fact that it's a lot of responsibility. Yeah. It is a tough job. I will, not that I've ever done it, but I wouldn't like to do anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I suppose it's fair enough in one way to just say, I'm not cut out for this anymore, and I just don't want to do it. It's too much pressure, which is fair enough, rather than having a scandal or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, she's not being the most favoured, shall we say, in Scotland. No. She has been absolutely despised. In her 9 years of serving, obviously, her approval rating just kept going down. It never went back up. So, I mean, I watched kind of her resignation speech and everything, and I think it was honest as it could be. But I also think that, I guess she's doing the right thing if she doesn't feel like she can do the job justice anymore. Like, she can't do it to her full ability. Sure, yeah, I get it. Yeah. Stepping down is not a bad thing. There's obviously the sort of gender bill that Scotland recently tried to push through. That's been speculated as to the reason that may be the reason that she's sort of pulling back a bit and maybe stepping down.
So that was trans, like a more broad thing, but I think the main thing was trans women being women and therefore being classed as biological women and therefore being able to go into women's prisons and women's spaces and stuff, which a lot of people kind of weren't supportive of. So
I mean, there's a little bit of information on it here. When MPs voted in December to pass the gender recognition reform bill by 86 votes to 39, it marked a key staging point which had involved hours of debate, months of division and years of passionate campaigning on both sides. Shouts of shame on you from some protesters in the public gallery came alongside cheers and standing ovations from others. Nicola Sturgeon said the bill was about reforming an existing process that is degrading and traumatic for trans people, seeking to make it less traumatic for those who want to legally change their agenda. However, opponents, including some with the SNP and the new law, would conflict with the UK-wide Equality Act by, for example, making it more difficult for women-only spaces to include people who were born biologically male. So I think that the bill that they were trying to push through had some little, like maybe 1 out of every 10 things was kind of helpful. The rest kind of made it harder for the rest of the UK then to justify the main act, I guess, that goes over the UK. And I do think it's important. I think, transgender people, non-binary people, I think, any part of the LGBTQ, more rights the better. They're still human. They should have all their human rights. Just saying.
Yeah.
I think that's just common sense. Again, we've discussed why that's not a thing in the UK. But yeah, I can understand where people are coming from on this, especially if it goes against one of the main things that's obviously in the UK and already set as law. But maybe time for a change, guys. The UK government had blocked it from receiving royal assent, a move unprecedented in the history of devolution. Miss Sturgeon had pledged to challenge the UK government in court, despite a recent poll suggesting that many people in Scotland believe it was the right thing to block the reform. There had been speculation that whoever replaces Sturgeon could choose to quietly shelf the plan to take legal action.
Probably.
A lot of people in Scotland didn't like the bill. I think pretty much everyone hated it. And again, first time ever, pretty much, So, for those who are not aware of how the law process in the UK works, if you live in America or if you're just not... I mean, who the fuck in the UK looks into this stuff? Apart from, people like me. But
no one's interested.
how the law works is a law is drafted up by the government in power. It then gets brought to Parliament. They discuss it out. The law, if it gets through Parliament, then goes to the House of Lords. They discuss it out. If it gets through the House of Lords, it gets put in front of the Royals, whoever's in power. So at this point, it would be
Prince Charles.
Prince Charles, there you go. My fucking brain. Prince Charles.
Although they basically never kind of reject anything, do they? So
I mean, the Queen apparently the Queen rejected quite a lot. But essentially, yeah, the idea is that the law then goes in front of whoever royal's in charge, who is now Charles. He would then look at the law and sign it in, or basically say, fuck off. Which, if he declined it, it goes all the way back down to the first step, and they have to build it all the way back up again. And there's only so many times you can vote it in the House, so on and so forth. So it's never happened that one of the laws that's been put in by Wales, England, Northern Ireland, or Scotland, sort of separately, because again we are devolved enough that we are all considered our own parts. It's never happened that a law, let's say, that's been put by Scotland in the past, never been stopped from being put in front of the Royals. It's always been voted through. This was kind of the first time that the UK government actually went, nah, you're not putting that through. So, I mean, it just shows how, I guess, serious this situation was. So, yeah, I mean, not a great look. And to be fair, I think a lot of people have heard the saying that she's Jimmy Cranky. Because,
the ginger dwarf from the north.
Yeah, that one. A lot of horrible things. And she, in all fairness, she said it herself when she did her speech. A lot of people will be elated by the fact that she's going, but some people may be disappointed. But yeah, I think... I mean, hopefully, yeah, it's time for her to move on. I mean, if it's time for her to move on, time for her to move on. But I think it just shows that the SNP are not in a very good place either, because they don't even have a replacement for her yet. She kind of just said, no, I'm off. So, yeah. It's not great.
Refreshing for someone to leave of their own accord rather than scandal, though.
I mean,
which is,
yeah, I'll give him that. But I guess a lot of people are trying to connect a scandal to her, I guess, from the general But I mean,
if people didn't like it, people didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it's not like she forced it upon her people.
Well, she's not been great in power, admittedly. She's forced a lot of laws. I mean, again, Scotland probably has the tightest non-free speech laws in the UK at the moment, which is not great.
It's weird because she was like hailed as, this COVID queen of making sure everything was a lot tighter and stuff. All the rules were a lot stricter, but that turns out to be a farce when it turns out people in power obviously didn't apply to them.
Yeah. I mean, another thing as well though is Scotland's news. Any news that comes out of Scotland, very regulated, like a lot of other places in the world. I won't name any because I could get in trouble. but
North Korea.
People have got in trouble before. So, literally. So, but yeah, it's very controlled news over there. Only very certain things that get through. I won't specific, but go look it up yourself. I literally can't. If I speculated on here, despite the fact we barely get views, yeah, I could still get in legal trouble. Like, how crazy is that? So, yeah. But then, I can
Breaking in my boots.
Yeah, exactly. I can't be quaking in my boots anymore. I can't do it. There's too much quaking.
Literally shitting myself.
Literally had a poo.
Stress poo.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, Nicola, whoever comes in is going to be just the same, I reckon.
Yeah,
still the SNP,
well,
so
see how it goes with them.
Yeah. Oh,
have you got any more news, good sir?
Fucking no.
Right. Shall we move on to some more kind of fun stuff?
Let's move on to lighter things.
Yeah, lighter things.
What we go with?
Shall we go with films first, or
go on then?
Films and TV shows.
Films and TV shows then. Let's go.
Well, I watched Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Nice.
Recently, so I quite enjoyed it. I thought, obviously lots of lead performances were very good. It was very kind of sentimental to obviously poor Chadwick. It's very long though, and could have done with like an hour shaved off. And it's from someone who doesn't really read the comics or know a lot about all of the heroes and villains and stuff. Like I think they were scraping the bottom of the barrel with their villain this time. I mean, he was wearing hot pants and had pigeon wings on his feet. I don't know what comics they are reading, but I mean, come on, just have someone a bit more interested in that. And it kind of turned into Avatar at the end. What was going on?
All right then.
But yeah, it's it's just I think it's just me not kind of the whole kind of Marvel film. It was obviously the end of that phase or something, wasn't it? So the Marvel films of that phase were just kind of graying on me a bit. So that's probably my own opinion and fault rather than the film itself, which I'm sure pleased a lot of people. But yeah, popcorn flick.
Yeah, I mean, on the topic of Marvel, I mean, Kevin Feige did come forward, and he has actually confirmed now that there will be a lot less Disney Plus shows coming out. Instead, they're going to go for quality over quantity, which, thank God!
Yes.
Because Phase 4 has been... So, yeah.
It's been too much. It's too much.
Unfortunately, what's sad as well is not all of Phase 4 has been absolute garbage. But a lot of it, unfortunately, got drowned out by the complete crap that did come out. She-Hulk. And every other fucking show that decided to come out. I mean, when they first started it off with WandaVision, Loki, very cool, very good. I loved them. They were amazing. And then the quality dropped.
Yeah, I didn't watch Moon Knight.
No, I've still not watched it.
What else haven't I watched?
There's so many. This is the problem. There's so many. And the thing is, as well, is like, I really wanted to stay in the loop with it all. But it became impossible because there's too much. Like Miss Marvel... You have...
So you don't get excited about anything anymore.
No.
Because there's too much of it.
And thank God. Kevin Feige came forward and admitted that Phase 4 was a mess. Like, way too much stuff, way too cluttered. Like, something like, for instance, the second Doctor Strange film, when we talked about that, right? I personally thought it was pretty good, apart from the CGI. But... that's one of the things, is they were pumping out so much that they were skimping out on things, and it made stuff probably look worse than it actually was. Like, I know Doctor Strange 2 got crapped on a lot, but I thought it was okay. But in the grand scheme of things, I can see why people weren't a fan. One of the ones that started the divisiveness, I don't know if that's probably fair to say, but the one where... what was it called? It was right in the beginning. It came out at the same time as WandaVision. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay.
That was quite divisive for people. Like, I liked it, but a lot of people were like, "Oh, not a lot happened."
That felt like a necessary one, though. I think because the whole Captain America shifting.
Yeah, but now they're actually changing what's meant to be happening with the Winter Soldier. So Bucky, He's now going to actually have a more prominent role. Before they were actually kind of pushing him out. Stuff like She-Hulk and things like that are obviously now part of the MCU, but they're going to slowly introduce them a bit better and do a bit more effort in that sense. And obviously, I think they announced that either this year, there's only 2 shows coming out for Marvel, which I believe is Loki Season 2 and Secret Wars? Is it Secret Wars, or it might be something else, but there's only 2 shows that are coming out this year for Marvel, which I think, great.
Yeah, that's more than enough. More than enough.
Why did the first 3 phases work? Because it took 10 years to get it all done. Like, it was spaced out, it was thought out, it was done properly, like, it wasn't rushed. That's what needs to happen. Deadpool 3 has now been given an official R rating. Thank you, Kevin. Do that for Blade and we'll be best friends. Like, I swear to God, if they don't make Blade R rated, I'm done with the Marvel. I'm done with them. Like, you can't make Blade and it be fucking PG. Like, you can't. Doesn't work. And this is, I'm glad though that, you know, they are now open to that. I think Deadpool 3 is the first R-rated Marvel film in the MCU.
Okay, yeah, and that's a good direction to go in, I think.
Good direction, I approve. So,
yeah.
But
I mean, the people who have grown up with Marvel are wanting more mature things.
Yeah, well, I think it's also part of the characters, isn't it? You know, Daredevil, for instance, when Netflix did Daredevil, I mean, they were hit and miss. Jessica Jones and Daredevil, I thought, were really good. First season of Luke Cage was really good. Obviously, Iron Fist was a bit... yeah. But, I mean, you know, at least they had the balls to go with the 15 age rating, and they weren't scared to...
Punisher as well.
Punisher, 18. Fucking brutal. I love John Bernthal. He did a fantastic job playing that role, and part of it was helped along by the fact it was rated R. This is kind of thing. Work with the characters you've got. Don't just try and fucking force them into something that isn't going to work for them. I mean, you know, Thor: Love and Thunder was pretty disappointing.
I hated it.
Eternals. I got about halfway
Never
through.
watched it.
Got bored.
Thought Harry Styles was in it. Pass.
It's just boring. It's too long. There's way too much exposition. They tried to fit too much into one film. It doesn't work. What If? That was a great series. I actually enjoyed What If, but it was just too much.
Yeah.
It's just way too much. You look at like all the other phases, and then you look at phase 4. It's just so much shit. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah. I mean, Guardians 3 is coming out soon.
The trailer made me laugh once.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. It doesn't look that like right. I get people might love that film. That's fine, whatever. For me, it doesn't look great.
Thor: Love and Thunder spoiled that kind of style of film for me, I think.
Yeah,
with the whole kind of cheesy goofiness of it all, which works in Thor: Ragnarok and the first 2 Guardians films. But it just feels like that was a phase, and it would kind of move past that now. But I don't know. It worked well at the time.
Yeah, it worked well at the time. And I think the thing is, James Gunn's a very talented filmmaker, right? I'm not denying that. But...
And it's the Ant-Man and Quantumania that's come out now. I feel like that's just going to be more of the kind of goofiness.
That's apparently not been very popular with people either, because Kang's meant to be being introduced into it, and apparently it's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's kind of meh.
It's just one of those, I have a feeling it's not going to be great.
I think that's the problem, though. I think Phase 4 has just destroyed people's hope in Marvel and kind of ripped it all apart and just... Because it's fucking shit. Like, Morbius.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, that should have been R-rated. It wasn't.
What's the main actor, the main guy in Ant-Man?
Oh, Paul Rudd.
Yeah, he's been doing like interviews and stuff and he's like, so what's the film actually about? And then he's like, I have no idea. It's like, is that really? That's a raving review of the film.
I think the thing is as well though, it's just so much. They've tried to fit so much in such a short time.
What's the quantum verse?
Yeah, and he's just like, fuck knows. I just read the script and come up with it. Like, but I think a lot of the actors have kind of got tired of it as well. So
yeah, they're just kind of doing it for the paycheck now, not because anyone's actually passionate about it.
Yeah.
But can't blame them.
Yeah,
can't blame them for that.
I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully they'll sort of bring it back with, the next phase or whatever, and they'll improve it. And I mean, Deadpool getting an R rating is a good step to go in. I appreciate they're finally not
I feel like
trying away.
There's going to be a string of good ones after that release.
I hope, but there is a lot of speculation that something like Blade is going to get PG-13 and stuff, and if they do that, then no. I'm out.
Aww.
People are arguing, oh no, Blade can be PG-13. No, it can't. Literally is an 18-rated comic book for a reason. Like, Blade is a vampire hunter that's both a vampire and human.
It needs to be bloody.
There's a certain... Look, you tried it with Morbius, it didn't fucking work, alright? The film turned out awful for it. Like, it wasn't a bad film. It just should have come with the R rating.
It just turns into like a CGI fest of horror.
Yeah.
Like,
don't be so fucking
beast.
scared. Don't be scared. Like, this is what I also don't understand is R ratings work. Last of Us series. It works. I still think they're being a little cowardly, but, you know, it works. But that's me. I'm very much into... I like that style of film, and I like it when films push their boundaries, you know? But, you know, I understand that's not for everyone, so, you know, but a little bit of give and take. Like, you know, don't just not have anything, you know?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned it just then. Should we talk about Last of Us?
Yeah, because obviously...
Latest episode.
Yeah, the latest episode was 5, right? Episode 5,
yes.
Which was... well, it was really good.
Wait, did we talk about episode 4?
Episode 4... let's talk about both of them. We'll be short. Like, we can't remember everything. Life goes on, man.
It's the whole kind of Kathleen arc.
Yes.
I think we have talked about this last time. So
I think we mentioned Kathleen and how she was a little underwhelming, but we were hoping that the next one she would get a bit better. So what do we think of 5? Did she get better?
No.
Like, I'm sorry, but no.
It's like, yeah, I understand and like get the concept of there being like a name and a face to put to their kind of the villainy side of like the kind of mercenaries and what have you. But yeah, it was. I just think like as with a few people in the series, like she has been severely miscast as, you know, an intimidating character, and I didn't feel intimidated by her. She was about as intimidating as a toilet brush. So I mean, fair enough. You know, some people really loved it, but and she has obviously defended her role on social media and stuff, which is fine. She's entitled to do that, of course. Absolutely. But in our opinion, well, in my opinion, yes, not a massive.
She wasn't a very strong character, and I think the problem is they kind of just put her there to be the reason that they were chasing after the other two characters whose names I've forgotten, which I feel bad for.
Henry,
and what was the kid's name?
I keep wanting to say Walt.
It's not Walt. It's not Lost. Yeah, no. Yeah, so Henry and Sam. There we go. Henry and Sam.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, and I think Henry and Sam, the actors that played Henry and Sam, obviously, when we saw them at the end of episode 4, I pointed out that I thought I kind of wished for different casting. I must retract my statement because they were fantastic in their roles.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that.
No, they were fantastic. They did a great job. Really, really hard hitting as well, and the way that they adapted the scene from the game to this, very good.
Yeah.
Very good casting for both, and definitely did the roles justice. And I don't know if you'd agree, Sean, but Bella Ramsey is she's grown on me.
She's grown. Yeah, she's grown.
She's grown on me. Like she's definitely in episode 4 and 5, she has definitely shown that okay, she can do this role. She can pull it off. I think. Bit of a stumble in the beginning, sort of learning her place and learning how Ellie functions, and I think now she's really starting to nail it. Like she's really getting.
It was just like a change, wasn't it? Like I think we were going into it just expecting to see our Ellie, when she's quite different, but she's kind of like copying that Ellie. But that was like episode 1 and 2. You're just like really, but then there comes some kind of switch where you get these new like nuances and stuff. Like she left the note to Henry to Sam even.
I'm sorry, which was
and like that was a nice touch, and you get like the emotional kind of more emotionally connected to her and stuff.
Yeah, trying to use her blood to see if that would work, and she's definitely found her space as Ellie now. And
going forward, I can fully believe. She's Ellie.
And Pedro is Pedro's doing Pedro. He's doing fantastic.
Pedro.
He's doing fantastic as Joel. He's
doing paycheck Pedro. No joke.
$600,000 from each episode. I mean, goddamn, this man is like on a roll right now.
Oh right.
But yeah, no, absolutely very, very cool. And a little bit of trivia, because I remember pointing this out to you, Sean, when we talked about it. But the guy who is working alongside Kathleen, big beard, looks like an absolute boss. He actually plays Tommy. Joel's brother, in the games, which was...
I had no idea, actually.
That was pretty fucking cool. I only learned it after we watched the episode, and I had a ganders online. I was like, oh!
And he looked really cool.
That's
as
awesome.
A mercenary, but along with Kathleen, and I don't think it really worked too well. Maybe he should have been like the Kathleen character, but...
Yeah, I could have seen that working.
One moment Kathleen had to actually be sinister and evil, she just completely messed it up and got killed anyway.
Yeah, it kind of felt like... I think that's another thing as well. I think she was a wasted character, right? I think if she had been more... If they'd had more time to sort of establish her for a couple of episodes... But I understand, obviously, they're trying to keep up pace with the game as well, so obviously that's not really realistic. I think she probably could have been more intimidating, but they had to kind of rush her progression, you know, shooting that guy straight away when you first see her, and telling all the mercenaries to go out and find Sam and Henry and kill them, and, you know, just it felt very over the top very quickly, and I think that kind
of... I felt like I didn't really know why they had such a stick up their ass about finding Henry.
Yeah, exactly, and that I think that sort of it hurt her progression as that character. I think she's a good actress. I think she did a very good job with what she had, but I think miscast, not the best. But can we please talk about one thing?
Sorry, go on.
No. I was just gonna say one thing that I desperately need to talk about: the bloater.
I was gonna mention.
Shit looked so good.
It looked really, really good.
Incredible. Bit of a shame. I think we both mentioned this when we talked about it in our personal time. A little bit too much CGI on it, considering that they made the outfit and it was a 6 foot.
I don't know if people just didn't notice it, or the fact that maybe they're just not looking out for it. But obviously, everyone was saying how amazing it looked, and it did look amazing. And we saw like behind the scenes photos and stuff. But in the actual show, it seemed like it was all CGI. I mean, that whole scene, like that whole scene was like amazing. I loved the whole fact of the sinkhole and the infected bursting out of it. It was like a massive shift in tone, intense. But yeah, and it was nice to see a bloater.
Very cool.
But yeah, we probably got about 3 seconds of practical, and the rest was CGI. But fair enough. They had to do what they had to do, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the thing is I think they filmed the entire thing obviously with just the suit and everything like that, of course. But I think they added a lot of CGI was going on around him, and I think that to try and enhance, the bloater look, I think there were a lot of moments where the CGI sort of hindered it a little bit. Not to say that it looks bad; it looks fucking phenomenal. But I think when if you're geeky like us and you you notice stuff like that, sometimes it's hard to unnotice it then, and it's sort of
a little bit tarnishing. But I think one of my favourite bits was quite niche, which was like the little kid. I don't know if it was a clicker or just normal affected, but little kid clicker. Yeah. And the fact that they were like doing the like little ballerina moves and stuff, I was like, oh my god, that's really cool. Like little detail they put in, like how like going into the lore of the zombies, and like the fact that they have maybe like retain a little bit of their selves like after they turn, which is very cool.
Yeah.
So I liked that.
Apparently that was something that was asked to be taken out, and the director said no.
Oh, I'm so glad they kept it in.
He was like, because there was
added so much.
There was a worry that they thought, oh, a child doing that, then so. But I'm glad they kept it in, because definitely added to the horror. But yeah, fantastic episode, very good. Just I think they should have more confidence in their practical effects a little bit more often than not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what happens next. What's next in the game?
So
it's the whole Tommy and
it should be Tommy next, I believe. Hold on, episode 6's name has been put out there. We'll soon know.
All about Tommy and that kind of the place and the dam and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm fairly certain the next episode will be Tommy, which interesting. I wonder how they're going to pull that off.
Yeah.
No.
Ellie's gonna have to interact with other people.
Well,
which would be nice.
hopefully it'll all work out and it'll do really well. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's the one series now that I'm enjoying watching weekly because instead of having to binge through it all.
Only a couple more days till the next one.
Yeah, not tomorrow, next one, Monday, innit?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
But yeah, we finished Lie to Me. We got through the entire of Lie to Me after how long has it been? I think we started watching it just after Lost, I think.
Yeah. I'm still gutted that it ends the way it ends, but
yeah, it's a very enjoyable series. I liked the dynamics between Lightman and Gillian and Logan and Torres. They all became, staples, didn't they? And there was all like the running themes of like being a bit of a dick to Logan. And it was very much kind of episodic, case by case kind of thing, which is it works within the realms of this show. It's just that season 3 it had like a stretch of amazing episodes just at the end, and you're like, why can't this just continue? Because it felt like it's really kind of finding its feet and at that point, and you really wanted things to see what happens next in like Lightman and Gillian and stuff like that. But yeah, glad I watched it. Bit sad about how it ended, but it felt like it wasn't a really a show that goes, goodbye forever. It feels like something. Maybe there might be something in the future, or something similar at least.
I hope so, man. I'm gutted because it's a series that I absolutely adore. Kind of like how you adore Lost and Fringe.
Yeah.
And just the way it ended was so frustrating because it felt so rushed.
It felt like they had such good potential going forward, like in the form of like more people challenging Lightman.
Also, learning more about Lightman.
Which is what we were desperately craving.
But yeah, that's why season 3 is simultaneously my most hated but also my most loved season. Just how it ends upsets me.
Bittersweet. Sweet bitter.
But yeah, good series. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's the main thing. We'll just have to keep seeing Tim Roth in Marvel as Abomination.
Yeah.
But there we are. There we are.
If we're finished with that one, Clarksons Farm, we have also been watching. I don't think you finished it. I've not quite finished season 2, but I mean, not exactly spoiler alert, is it?
No.
But so obviously it's such a good series, it's so unique the way Clarkson and his like background in cars, and you're kind of seeing a little changes in him, in the fact that obviously it's probably like he's not actually changed, it's just the show doing this, but the fact that he's like turning into more of a kind of empathetic individual towards farming, and what it's like, what it takes to be a farmer. Like he says he's not a farmer, of course, he's like a trainee farmer. But it's funny seeing him like take on the council and the village of Chipping Norton, and like the locals around him being like so furious at him, because I've got family like down there, and it is very much like we don't want anything in our village. It's very much like the Hot Fuzz kind of like, not in our village kind of thing.
Not in our village.
It's funny to see like him kind of causing a bit of chaos down there, because by God they need it a bit of shaking up. But yeah, so frustrating though, isn't it? With the council.
Yeah, just a smidge.
It's just like.
I mean, it's clearly obvious they have a vendetta against Jeremy, whether they like it or not, or whether they want to try and hide it. They clearly have a vendetta against him. And the thing is, it's like I understand that Jeremy Clarkson's a very polarizing figure, right? I get it. He is.
Yeah.
He's a very
not everyone's taste.
No, and I get that, but you cannot deny that like they are treating him unfairly. Like, there's stuff that happens in the series where even Charlie's the guy, if you haven't seen the series, that works with Clarkson, he's kind of the guy that does all the behind-the-scenes stuff, is even like, that's never happened before. I've never had a farmer be denied this, or denied this, or denied that. Like, it's ridiculous. And yeah, it's just very...
All the plans that they have, like, sound amazing as well. Like, they're not going to make a eyesore in the landscape, and they're going to bring lots of work and lots of, farms, keep farms afloat in the local area. All the farmers support it.
Yeah.
But just because, some of the councillors at the meeting are just like, you can see them visibly like rolling their eyes. And that one lawyer, that one like local who hired a barrister to help him. And then he's like, you should really learn to spell. I was like, oh, Jeremy.
Yeah, that wasn't a great look. Like, I understand where he was coming from, but when you're doing stuff like that, you're not going to get people on your side. But I stand by the fact I think that council is corrupt. I think they clearly just don't like Clarkson. They're not doing...
They decided as soon as he walked in, we're not going to grant this.
No, there was two of them that were on his side, and
hats off to them.
They made compelling arguments, and this is the problem. It's like, hey, look, it's gonna assist the other farmers in the area that are struggling. It's gonna give them business, as well as being able to bring community to the area. If we let him have his car park, they'll stop chewing up the side of the fucking road. Like, and they were like, no, I don't think I will.
It ruins the grey skies.
It's like they watched Endgame and just went, I like Captain America's line. No, I don't think I will. Just everything. And it's ridiculous. They complained at Clarkson for not having a car park, so he applied for a car park, and they go, no, you can't have your car park. The fuck? And they're going, we're not corrupt. Fuck off. You are as corrupt as they come. And maybe you should start playing the victim and start realizing, oh, maybe no, I'm the problem. Like, maybe I'm the problem.
Support, farmers have to be supported in new and innovative ways, because that's what they have to try and do to survive now. Yeah. Because everything's imported from the EU, and wherever else. So it's just really tough business, and they're the people that feed the world. They should be treated with respect and being given opportunities rather than denied at every occasion. I mean, granted, probably a lot of it is to do with the fact he's Jeremy Clarkson and they don't like him.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't like Jeremy Clarkson, but they still find him entertaining.
Yeah, I think the thing is as well is you can hate him all you want, but at least he's bringing important things to light about farmers in this country and how Brexit has destroyed farmers in this country.
And I like him a lot more since he's done this show, because before it's just all about cars and a bit boisterous. It was still funny, but he didn't really have any kind of empathy or relatability.
Don't get me wrong, he's still Jeremy Clarkson.
Oh yeah,
he's still a moron
national treasure.
At times. He's still an absolute fucking idiot at times, but he is it feels like this isn't just a show for him to make money, it's also to show the real struggles that farmers are going through right now. He's got silly moments like buying a stupidly large fucking tractor, and it has to be a Lamborghini, and the first series is kind of building it up, but the second series it feels like he's doing everything in his power. He has a meeting with the entire village, he lets them have their fucking talks, and they can say what they want. He sort of talks to them about trying to find ways to fix the problems instead of just having a go at him. And even the fucking village people were like, not the village people.
Oh, it's very nice, man.
But they're like, no, it was nice to actually for him to come down to us and talk to us instead of talking down to us. And he actually came here, explained himself, talked about how he wants to make it better, and we suggested stuff that he's taken on board. I think there is an obvious person they interviewed who just doesn't like Jeremy, which is also, I think, part of the reason he wasn't getting any planning permission, which the one that hired the lawyer, and I think it's fairly obvious, we all know who you are. I'm not condemning, don't go after this person, they are an elderly person and have the right to have their opinions, so don't fucking leave them alone.
They're just vehemently against him
and
doing anything,
and they have every right to feel that way, and that's why they hired a lawyer
don't blame that individual, it's just the councillors, isn't it?
And
I
think
council.
A lot of people as well I don't think fully realise what's going on. I think Jeremy Clarkson has made a bit of an arse of himself in that area, blowing up his house in Grand Tour and things like that. Probably doesn't help.
Doesn't fill with confidence.
So I can understand
few that aren't willing to look into what he's actually doing.
And I understand that. So I think there's a lot of work that he needs to do, and hopefully they can find some way around.
I feel like it is quite biased as well towards Jeremy as well, I suppose, because it is his show and he's funding it and stuff. They're not going to say all of the details that why it's not allowed, because there's probably a few that they just don't mention. But of course, everyone's behind the bigger picture here.
I mean, to make this also very clear, the council did actually reply. West Oxfordshire District Council did actually reply to all the backlash. And they tried their best, and you can imagine didn't go as well as they hoped. I don't think a lot of people were furious at them, and basically, I think they posted something about kind of the roads being damaged and destroyed, and basically just people just giving them shit underneath, going, funny, it's almost as if you let him have the car park, that wouldn't be a problem. And I think,
as long as it all stays in jest and people aren't like going there just to fight them.
I think a lot of there have been some individuals that have gone there to purposely cause violence and cause problems. That is not the way you're going to adapt change. If you really want stuff to change, then you have to argue with your wallet. Argue by turning up and supporting Clarkson's shop, or
buy stuff online from buy his beer and stuff.
Yeah, but like support him in that way. Is it expensive? Fucking very. But also watch his series.
It's a piece of history.
Yeah. Understand why it's so expensive, why they're struggling so much. Like, it's important, I think, that a lot of...
It's a bit more special than a pack of San Miguel's or whatever.
Yeah, it's not just a pack of...
It has that sentimental value.
I mean, to be fair, his crisps are ridiculously expensive, but again...
They're Jeremy flavoured.
Oh, that fucking...
He must have known that was going to happen.
Oh, God, fucking idiot.
He was doing it so violently.
Fucking plum. But, yeah... Oh, God, my thumb hurts. Go and support him. Like, support him in that way. Show the council that no matter what they do to get in your way, you're still going to support him. And eventually change will happen. Argue your case online, but do it respectfully. Don't be an asshole about it, because if you end up just being rude or being obnoxious or horrible to them, they're just going to keep, doing it. They're just going to use that as an excuse. Look how violent these people are. Look how rude they are. It's... you need to...
It's going to end up being a negative, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's only going to hurt everything. But they did put up something on February 14th, so not that long ago, 4 days ago, they put this up. I mean, I'll leave the tweet down below if people want to check it out. But I thought it'd be quite poignant to read it on here and then read some of the replies. Because some of them are very constructive and make sense. Some of them, But, we understand that the planning process shown in Season 2 of Clarksons Farm can seem obstructive, and that people will be confused by the planning decisions at Diddley Squat Farm. As with any other planning authority, we have a legal responsibility to make sure the planning laws and policies are followed correctly by everyone to manage development and protect local communities and the environment. This is regardless of who they are. We treat Diddley Squat no differently. You do, though. Don't you? Let's be real.
Oh, that's how they make it seem in the show, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, again, yes, that is also something to consider. Shows are made for entertainment, regardless of if they're a documentary on real things. There are little lines. I still think they have a vendetta, but that's just my opinion. Behind the scenes, we have worked with the owners and planning agents of Diddley Squat over the past 2 years to try and reach a positive outcome where the business can operate within the planning laws and policies. The work Diddley Squat Farm is doing to highlight the wider challenges faced by farmers is commendable, and we support farm diversification to help local farmers bring in income as they have lost other funding. Farming and rural businesses are incredibly important in West Oxfordshire, and we sympathise with the challenge farmers face in running their business, especially after the uncertainty caused by Brexit, as highlighted in Clarksons Farm. There's three pages of this, so I'm obviously not going to read it all. I'll just read that. But the first response from an actual award-winning documentary maker, right? It's an actual a fucking person. You're a bunch of ego-mad, power-driven wallies. Let the farmer have a track. Let the farmer have a restaurant. What the bloody hell is wrong with you? Shame on you. Use some bloody common sense. Now, there's some good in that. Calling them wallies, probably not the greatest luck. I mean, you could have said a lot worse, but...
Yeah, I understand he's probably just finished episode 6 or whatever.
Yeah, he's probably quite angry, and I get that. But some of that is constructive, some not so much, right? There's another person, Alan White, who's an editor-in-chief. said, how did 2 kilometers of cones help with any of this? It's a good question. Like, did it? No.
But then again, like, every single council in the country does dumb decisions like that every single day.
I think that the shocking thing as well is that obviously Jeremy Clarkson doesn't show certain messages of support he's got because he's not allowed to. But there are other councils in the country that have come forward and condemned this council for doing what they've done. I do think I'm going to leave a link in the description, of course, for the tweet if you want to go and read it all yourself. But yeah, just be constructive. You know, don't just call them a bunch of arseholes and wankers, because they're just going to use that against everyone who's trying to get a better outcome.
At the end of the day, it makes more entertaining series, doesn't it? Seeing him go through all these trials and tribulations.
Yeah, and hopefully
they spin it however they want.
Hopefully, with season 3, there will be an outcome that works for everyone.
Yeah, maybe he's already got a restaurant. Maybe I need to look at.
And you may be thinking, but wait, didn't Amazon drop Jeremy Clarkson? Wasn't that something you guys mentioned? It was all speculation. And it just turned out that it is not true. Amazon aren't dropping him, and there will be a season 3 according to Jeremy. So, but that's according to Jeremy. So I guess, again, take it with a pinch of salt, but hopefully there will be.
Oh, there will. The amount of money he's making them, yeah. Although I suppose the amount of money they're spending on him as well. I mean, but it's a give take.
He's not making jack shit from his farm. Let's be real here.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's making absolutely nothing.
So I think they're probably like. He's probably breaking even with the whole Amazon filming the whole thing, and whatever he gets in profits from his shop, that's probably like breaking even. And he can afford to take losses as well anyway.
Yeah, he's got enough money. That's like he said. In the first series, not every farmer has who wants to be a millionaire money to fall back on. So yeah, I mean, hopefully something good will come of this, and hopefully if people keep arguing a healthy conversation and dialogue, hopefully something will come of it and it'll get better. But
that's a good segue into speaking of Jeremy Clarkson being potentially cancelled, into the South Park episode that has recently come out, taking the piss out of Harry and Meghan. It's quite funny though, isn't it, that like now that they're kind of he's brought his book out. That Americans now are starting to see kind of what moaning people they are, and how privileged yet so vocal about being such unhappy. What an unhappy life they've had. So it's nice to see that Americans are finally seeing it, which is the narrative kind of we like a lot of Britons have been spewing. Obviously there's a lot of defense of them as well, but it's a very funny episode, I reckon. People check it out, because I think South Park may have got a new following of royal viewers.
I haven't watched it yet because someone keeps fucking nagging me to.
No, I haven't watched it. I watched clips from it.
I've seen the clips and stuff. I've got the episode up and ready to watch later. But I mean, I probably will watch it. And I'll give it a ganders. But I mean, it's South Park. Why? Like, people are not going to be surprised, I hope. I think
Clarkson will be going, phew, I'm not the only one there.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be happy.
We want privacy. Nobody look at us.
It's very funny. Very funny indeed. And I look forward to actually binging that episode and getting it done.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a very nice little comedic edge there. Do you have anything else for TV and films that I could say?
I do not. No.
Oh, okay. No animation we're watching.
No. Well, I mean, no, I haven't actually watched anime with Shaggy for a while. We're hanging out.
Lord.
I know we're hanging out Monday. It's because I've been unwell, so I didn't hang out with anybody for for like quite some time. But we're watching some on Monday, so I'll have plenty for the next one that I can talk about.
Yes. Well, we'll move on to games then.
Let's move on to the gaming world.
Our final section of today, probably, because we don't have any.
No interesting things.
Yeah, we'll say that now, so we don't have to go into the awkward situation at the end.
But so we've got a couple of things we can talk about with regards to gaming. But have you been playing anything good, sir? Anything interesting?
Well, yes, actually, for a change. I've been treated myself to Hogwarts Legacy. I've been playing through that. It's a very good game so far. Well made, well polished. Which is quite surprising because I was expecting it not to be. It was like a buggy mess, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because of the history of the developers and whatever. But you know, hats off to them. They've made a really good game.
Good.
It makes it just puts you in that world of Hogwarts. So that's probably the best thing about it. Is just like get the setting and the kind of feeling you get from the game, the castle and the outer grounds and Hogsmeade and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the combat, it's very fun. It's fluid. There's depth to it, which is quite good. I wasn't expecting it. The way it just like handles and controls is quite fun. I suppose the story in some aspects is a bit kind of. I suppose it's one of those games where the story isn't their main focus, and it's just kind of a lot of busy work.
Yeah.
When it comes to side quests, and even the main quests are a bit like. But I think I don't really get. Sometimes I do end up skipping a little bit of dialogue because I'm just like, okay, let's just get this done. I think the most important, like, the fun thing about it is the setting and the gameplay, really, rather than the story. The story is maybe slightly weaker, but if you are a Harry Potter fan, there's a lot to love in there. There's a lot more lore and stuff, and ancient magic and stuff. So lots of things to discover. And yeah, beautiful. And they've done Hogwarts really well.
They've done a good job.
Yeah, even if you're not even a fan of like the films, I think this might turn you into a.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's full of life. The Hogwarts, full of like ghosts shouting at each other, having arguments. Every single portrait you see has something in it.
Yeah.
So that's like the level of detail we're talking about.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah,
that's awesome. I am hoping to grab the game next month when I've got a bit of money.
Yeah, you can have mine when I sell it.
I'll sell it to me.
Yeah, give you the price.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I'm looking forward to playing it. It looks very good. It looks polished. It looks well made.
I wish it was multiplayer. That's like one thing I wish as well. But
yeah,
they can't have everything, can you?
No, yeah, exactly. And I mean, yeah. I mean, if it's a polished single player experience, that's all that matters. Yeah.
I feel like they're already like making the second one, like as we speak.
What I will say is this much, because I'm not going to give this a little too much credit. Obviously, the drama around Hogwarts Legacy and streamers being, made to fucking cry and pushed off because they're streaming a fucking game. So yeah, there was this hate campaign, obviously, around Hogwarts Legacy. I'm not going to give this too much time because, quite frankly, all of the people that were part of that campaign can fuck off and get hit by a truck. But basically, a lot of people didn't like the fact that obviously because it's a Hogwarts thing and it's a Harry Potter thing that J.K. Rowling gets money off of it, so therefore you buy the game as supporting her and her views. What a load of shit. If you want to play a fucking game, play the game. And as for the people that are, fighting the right fight, you're not. You might be fighting for a good cause, so J.K. doesn't make any money. I get it. She's an asshole and no one likes her. You are not helping your cause by acting like a twat and just hate raiding people for no reason. I really wanted to get the game on release so that I could stream it, so I could get a hate raid. Just to tell you people to fuck off. But I couldn't afford it. So
I'm sure it's a very small vocal community, isn't
it? You'd think. But actually it was so bad that a lot of streamers just point blank refused to play the game on stream because they couldn't be bothered to experience that level of just ignorance.
Right.
Some
you
people
can't just like not look at the chat.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard, man. Like, especially when you want to communicate. As a streamer myself, one of the best parts about it is talking to chat, right?
I suppose.
And I think
massive followings.
Yeah, and I think as well is like, so the main one that was talked about was girlfriend reviews, right? Her and her boyfriend were playing Hogwarts Legacy. Normally the boyfriend will play the game and she will sort of review it. It's kind of like a fun thing they do. They're a really lovely couple, amazing channel. They were streaming Hogwarts Legacy and the hate raid was so bad that she ended up having a breakdown, having to leave the stream crying, and he was just basically sitting there going, we're literally just playing a game. We're trying to they were doing a charity fundraiser for trans rights as well. And yet, all these moron people were like, "You're supporting J.K. Rowling and she hates trans people."
Yeah.
You just hurt a charity stream, you thick fuck. Like, the ignorance of these people. I just want to, like, it's. What is the point? Like, how are you accomplishing anything by being just an arsehole to someone?
I know, and it's like, it's nothing to do with J.K. Rowling. Like, fair enough, she came up with the idea to start with, but like, it's so separated from her by now. Like, yeah, of course, she owns some rights and whatever.
Yeah,
but
she gets royalties.
If by that logic you wouldn't watch or play anything or do anything, someone out there has done that before and created it or had the idea, and they are a bad apple themselves. It's not even she just has like an opinion which is very controversial, and she's not actively a terrorist or something.
I mean, it's surprising to me because a lot of people that make these arguments are fucking idiots. A great YouTuber that made a great video on it, I'll leave a link down below, Actman, he made a video basically talking about kind of dissecting what these people were basically arguing for, right? So why are people getting so angry about Hogwarts Legacy and the fact that JK may be benefiting off it? And you find out that when you look into it, not even fucking they know. They're just a hate mob, you know, and it's nuts that it even got to that point.
Well, the funny thing is, within the game itself, there is a trans character in there within the first like 30 minutes. You're there and you're speaking to them and you're doing quests for them.
And literally, the developers have come forward and said they don't like JK. They think they don't agree with her ideologies, and that's the thing. Like, this wasn't made by JK Rowling. All right, does she benefit off it? Yes. But on that moral, are you just not going to buy any more games then? Because I'm sure there are investors in every
all these companies,
company.
You know, there's abusers and, you know, horrible people in every single company.
So these hate raiders,
which have done far worse than J.K. Rowling.
Let me throw this out there: these hate raiders, right? I'm going to specifically put you in the title. I'm going to put you in the thumb, in the tags. No, not you. In the tags, because I fucking want people who hate raided to see this. They won't, but I hope you do. I want you to understand something. Since you were so adamant on hate raiding that, what things have you bought? Bought a Ubisoft game in the last few years? Bought an EA game? Bought an Activision game? So you must agree with, you know, hating women and abusing people and overworking people, right?
Yes, no. All those people breathe oxygen as well.
Yeah. No, of course you fucking...
You share that oxygen.
Of course you fucking don't. Don't be such a moron, right? Go out and touch some grass. Get outside. Find yourself a nice partner, because you clearly have never had one. So, you know, get out and live your life. Having
a partner has something against trans, yeah.
Fuck it off. Just, look, do me a favour. Just, if you've got nothing nice to say, fuck off. Feel free to come over to my stream, though, and hate me. I'd love to tear you a new arsehole on stream. Like,
that'd be very entertaining.
Great. I'd fucking love to do that. Please, by all means. So, yeah, argue your case with me, which is, I just don't like J.K. Rowling. Fucking idiots. But yeah, there you go, that's my piece. I don't want to give them any more fucking credit. Or time.
Well, I think that puts the cherry on our Hogwarts Legacy pie.
But, Hogwarts Legacy, great game, go buy it. There you go.
Yes, go buy and enjoy it. Don't care what anyone else thinks.
Fuck them.
You're in for a good time.
Yeah. Well, have you been playing anything else good so far?
Well, we played a little bit of X-Defiant beta. I know we're allowed to talk about that.
We can talk about it, we just can't show any footage. So yeah.
Yeah, because it's like still like early access beta kind of thing. But it's an interesting Ubisoft title in the fact that they've just gone, shall we just cancel all these other IPs and shove them into one thing? Make it a Overwatch style game.
Have we tried making Call of Duty yet? No, let's make it.
Yeah, Call of Duty clone.
Yeah, that's all it is.
With skins of all your favourite series is like Rainbow Six and Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Watch Dogs. They originally apparently had the Tom Clancy game on, but it's got so much like hate for having Tom Clancy things. It's just so far removed from anything related to him that they just took it off.
I don't know, man.
But I think if you wanted to play it as X-Defiant, I think you can still sign up to play it, and they just give you a code because I don't think it's that popular.
They're begging people to play it.
Play it.
And I'll be honest, is it a bad game? No, I mean, it functions.
The gunplay feels quite smooth and coddish.
It works. It works. But is it boring? Yes. Is it uninspired? Yes. Are they just trying to make a COD clone that involves all of the different IPs they have so they can capitalize on all of them? Yes.
I think it probably was like at the threshold where they were gonna cancel it, but it's basically finished.
Yeah.
So they thought, well, it's gonna be free to play anyway. Let's just get it out there and make a buck or two.
But would I recommend playing it when it comes out? It's going to be free to play, so why not?
Give it a try.
Give it a try. And quite frankly, yeah, I could see me getting into it and enjoying it, but
especially if you're a die-hard fan of all these other games, because the maps could incorporate a lot of different franchises into it. It's quite cool. Yeah. In some ways, but it's also a bit cringeworthy in others.
Yeah, it's a cool idea and a very cool concept. But bear in mind it's free to play, bear in mind it's Ubisoft, and bear in mind it'll be stuffed with so many microtransactions it'll be probably worse than Breakpoint. So, I mean, if you can live with all of those things, enjoy. But yeah, I think the problem with Ubisoft is they're still trying to push these IPs, they're still trying to push this live service crap. They're not willing to put any more time and effort into anything else, and it's going to come around to bite them in the ass. Of course it is. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll just... It's extra fine. It's not bad, it's not good, it's kind of just existing.
It's just in the middle. It exists.
It's a thing there if you want to play it, and it's free. So feel free.
Yeah.
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 But
that's pretty much what I've been playing, I guess, other than the usuals, which I'm not going to give them any more.
Yeah. Fucking Fortnite. It's just...
Fucking Fortnite.
Play something else. No, I mean, yeah. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. But yeah. No, I've not been playing a lot either. I'll be completely honest. I've been doing a lot of grinding on certain platinums and stuff that I'm working on. So, Fallout 3, we're currently doing that. DC Universe. But I did play a new game recently on PC, which was a strategy one. It's on PlayStation and Xbox, I believe, as well, which is Evil Genius 2. So it's like a little base building. You base build game that you're an evil genius. You have to try and take over the world and stuff. It's actually very fun, very silly, very over the top and cartoon like, and just enjoyable. So enjoying that experience quite a bit. So yeah, but that's it. Like I've barely been playing stuff, which is a shame.
Well, we'll talk about the PS Plus editions this month then. PS Plus extra one.
The best one that they've done so far.
I know it's. A lot of people will be very happy, me included. I think there's a lot of kind of bangers on here, although, maybe not all rated amazingly highly. I think when a lot of them came out, I kind of wanted them. There's a Horizon Forbidden West is one of them.
Yep.
This is all coming to the extra catalogue, by the way. So.
Yeah, so we'll do extra first and then we'll go premium. So, yeah, you got Horizon Forbidden West, which finally...
We've got The Quarry, which is one of the ones which I've been wanting to play that because, Until Dawn, we've got... Resident Evil 7, yeah, I think that was already a plus one. They're cheating on that one.
They're cheating on that one a bit, but do you know what? That's cool, whatever. Outriders, the PS4 and the PS5 edition, which I played...
tempted to get that on release.
Yeah, I played a bit of that on release on the Game Pass, because at the time I had Game Pass for a little bit, and it was okay. It wasn't a bad game. It was a bit boring. I never finished it, but I mean, it'd be nice to actually play it with someone.
Friends,
yeah, it'd be nice to actually. It's very Destiny and Division smashed into one, so sci-fi third person, and
I'd be happy to play some of that.
I'm looking forward to maybe grinding a little bit with that with you. That'd be good. Scarlet Nexus, definitely. PS4, PS5, big JRPG. That's a good game. Borderlands 3.
Yeah, that's another big hitter.
Another big hitter. Tekken 7. People are going to like that if they enjoy those. Ace Combat 7, so like I don't know, plane fighting one. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, whatever. Earth Defense Force 5. That's cool. I do like that series. It's very over the top, stupid, and killing bugs. A bit of a more rare one, an action RPG from Square Enix. I'm not surprised. Lots of Square Enix games on here. Because they probably lost a lot of money recently.
Right, Forspoken isn't on there straight away.
Yeah. I'll give it a year. I believe it's called
6 months.
Aninaki. I hope I pronounced that right. Big JRPG one. It looks really cool. Looks really interesting, different. Lost Sphere, another classic RPG. That's RPGs.
I know. I mean, there's enough content here for like 3 years.
Yeah, literally. I Am Setsuna. another JRPG, and then the final one is The Forgotten City, which is a weird one. It's explore an open-world ancient Roman city in the mysterious adventure in which combat is an option, but violence will only get you so far. So that actually sounds... It looks quite interesting. I saw it come out, but I was like... I was a bit unsure because it kind of looked like a shovelware when I first saw it. But it looks pretty good, actually. It looks kind of interesting, so...
It does, yeah. It depends how far I get through the rest of the bloody one.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well, is like... If PlayStation can keep having releases on Extra like this is the way to go. Yeah. Get some fucking good ones on there, and people will start signing up a bit more. But,
just hopefully they stay on for quite a while, so people have actually chance to play it.
Yeah, don't just fucking remove them after a month. Especially with your first parties. Like, it's nice to see that Horizon Forbidden West has been put on there. I wouldn't have given it such a fucking hard time if they'd done that in the first place. But it's not a good game. But now we're on to premium anyway. But yeah. Can you remember any of the 4 premiums?
I'm not a premium member anymore. I do not give any priority.
There was 4 that were announced. So we'll start with kind of the backwards compatible ones, the PS1 titles. So they're releasing Harvest Moon Back to Nature.
Destroy All Humans. I remember that one.
Yeah, Destroy All Humans, the remake for the PS4 that they did. So that's kind of cool.
They're starting to do that, kind of like with classics, which are remakes, though.
They're fun, but this is like the fully remade one. It's not just a PS2 port. It's like the fully remade one. So that's cool. I appreciate that.
That's kind of an extra on the premium kind of thing. They're trying to make it a bit more value for money.
Yeah. They're releasing The Legend of Dragoon, which is apparently like a really popular PS1 game. So that's cool. Wild Arms 2 and Harvest Moon Back to Nature. So overall, it's a solid extra and premium for once. I mean, still premium is lacking. Of course it is. But I mean, extra, that's probably the best that we're going to get. Oh, look at that. But yeah,
hopefully. A little vocal one today.
Oh, hopefully we'll get a bit more in the future as well.
Yeah, when it comes to premium. Because I think they're doing like this PlayStation Plus event, like, as we speak. It's like got competitions and like some challenges, and it's free to play weekend or something this weekend.
Yeah, multiplayer weekend.
So yeah, maybe more of those events in the future as well, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll be honest, this is the direction Sony need to be going in with Extra. If they want people to sign up to it, this is the direction you need to start going. Stop trying to...
I was a bit worried.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
go on. I was going to say, I was a bit worried last year when all the deals came out from Plus, like, get 50% off, premium, free upgrades for everyone. I was like, oh god, they're going to make it shit this year, aren't they? But no, they're bringing in some bangers. Okay, fair enough.
Good start. And of course, the 3-hour trial of God of War Ragnarok for premium members. So
yeah,
I mean, that's nice. Again, it's only 3 hours. 3 hours in the grand scheme of things is fuck all for that game, but it's nice that they've at least put it on there, I guess, for premium. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. Yeah. Hopefully they keep going in this direction, and it'll keep getting better and better and better. Obviously, PlayStation VR 2 is coming out very soon. Actually, I think it might come out now.
I think it's later this month, just a few more short weeks.
Yeah, a lot of reviews have come out saying that it's very good. It's exceptional, but the problem is no games, no first party stuff, and it's fucking expensive. So
I can't wait for some friends with lots of disposable income to get that so I can try it out.
Yeah. Well, I certainly won't be fucking one.
No.
I would love to.
I wasn't expecting.
I got PSVR 1, obviously, and that was very cool. It was a cool little piece of technology to have and to play with. And VR 2 looks just as good. Looks exceptionally good. But there is kind of like a point of just... there's only so far this goes. So,
but with the rave reviews of the second one, like so all of that is out the window, and it's going to be a new kind of immersive experience competing with the top of the range kind of product. So I'm looking forward to seeing some people's reactions of it and gameplay of it. I know you won't get obviously the experience, but just to see how people are interacting with it will be interesting.
It will be, yeah. And it'll definitely be interesting to see what developers actually upgrade to the PSVR 2. I know a lot of them have announced that they're going to, which is very good. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting situation to see how it changes over time.
It's one of those. So if you can hold off, then hold off, because there will be more games coming out, and it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, we say that, but the PS5 itself has gone more expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, give it a year, and VR2 will go down in price. It'll be just like the first VR. It just takes time to go down.
As technology improves, then the older stuff gets a bit cheaper.
Indeed. Yes.
Well, is there anything else good to add to this?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
So I think that's it.
I think we've had quite a long one today.
Almost don't say. Yeah, it's been a fairly long podcast this time, so it's going to be fun to edit. But I'll enjoy it. I'll actually be editing it this time.
No.
You don't have to really work.
I did work last time.
To be fair, the podcast doesn't exactly require a lot of editing normally.
I tend to keep it podcasty.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point of it, isn't it? So, but that's probably how it'll be edited as well when I do it. So, but yeah, we hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us. I
hope you enjoyed this on schedule one, and I hope to see you in another 2 weeks. Oh my god.
I know. Hopefully, we'll have a few more things. It's ironic, right? Because when we normally don't have a lot to talk about, it's a longer podcast. Ends up being longer. So, yeah.
I feel like you only need a few big juicy things, or a lot of kind of trivial stuff.
A lot of juicy things. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to do, as always. And of course, we will see you in the next one in 2 weeks' time.
See you in the next one, guys. Have a good week.